Hello, my friends. We had a great jam at Dickie's Barbecue last night, in spite of the fact that the band wasn't really there. It was all just a bunch of friends that came in and filled in for them and helped me out. And it was a really good time, and I think the jam was great. I also want to tell you about the next project I'm about to start on. It comes from Switzerland. And I want to correct a comment or two that was made yesterday. You'll hear all about all of that right after this. Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Workshop. It is Wednesday, October 12th. Tomorrow morning, I'll be headed toward Mountain View, Arkansas. So just as a reminder, there will be no shop talk on Friday, this Friday. So next Friday, a week from this Friday, we will have our next shop talk. Yes, the jam was really good last night at Dickie's Barbecue. We really had a good time, and I think the people that filled in for the band really did a wonderful job as well. So I want to say thanks to Bill Pilliard, Gina Huizinga, and Loretta Peterman for filling in. They did a wonderful job. And we had a pretty good crowd too as well, so it all went over really well. My friends, I want to interject a little note here that I got from a satisfied customer. We're going to call him Mac. I believe that is his first name. Thank you for the deer antler saddle. It has really given a depth and punch and volume to my mandolin. I cannot wait to show my buddies. For the time you put into one, the quality they add to the instrument, I cannot believe you sell them so cheap. He says, raise your prices. I was more than happy to pay for one. Love you, Mr. Rosa. Love your videos. You are awesome. That's from Mac. Thank you, Mac. I really do appreciate it. I do get lots and lots and lots of nice comments on the deer antler saddles for the mandolins. In fact, way before the internet, when I first started selling them back in the early 80s, I received something on the order of 200 handwritten letters telling me how wonderful they are. When you stop and actually write a letter back to a company telling them how good their product is, it kind of speaks for itself. The biggest problem with the antler is, number one, me getting enough of it. So if you have deer antler laying around and you're not doing anything with it and you could afford to send it to me, please do so. If you're trying to save cost, send me about the bottom 4 inches. Where the base is, the 4 inches there, and it's preferable if you can leave the skull attached, or at least part of the skull attached to that 4 inches, because right where it attaches to the skull is the most solid part. That's really all I can make the antler saddles out of. The rest of the antler, for the most part, I don't really need or use that much. I do use parts of those for making nuts and for making guitar saddles, but the base is what I need for the mandolin antler saddles. So if you have antler laying around and you can spare it, I would appreciate you sending it to me. My address is on my website. That's my biggest problem, why I don't push it even harder, is because I just can't keep up and get enough antler. I really have had, like 99% great feedback. There's always one or two somewhere along the line. I would say the other second problem I have with the antler is porous. I mean, at least the center part of it's porous. That's why the base is the only thing I can make it out of, and I have to use the outside edge of the base, if you will, because the center is porous. And so there's always some porosity in every antler saddle, or I would say at least in 90% of them, there's always some sort of porosity. So I just hope you understand that when you receive yours, you will probably see some porosity there. I try to put that on the back side, on the tailpiece side, as I make the saddles. I hope that makes sense to you. We're getting so much rain out there right now, I hope you can even hear me. Now on with the rest of the program. The next project I have comes from Switzerland, as I said. So let's open up this case and figure out what we're dealing with here. It looks like it is a lower mandolin. Okay, so I guess I have to explain how I allowed this to be shipped in. The truth is, I refused it at least 4 or 5 times. He pretty much just wouldn't take no for an answer and made a good case of why he needed to send it to me. I finally relented and said, okay, fine, just send it. You know, at some point, I guess I give in. Don't try it. Because I don't give in easy. But he made a pretty good case for why he needed to send it to me. So we're going to call this our next project. It's basically just a setup. All the way from Switzerland for just a setup. But we're going to give it a full meal deal setup and do the best we can with it. I'm not sure everything we're going to do on it yet because, quite honestly, it's been sitting here for quite a while. And I've kind of forgotten all the things he said about it because I've done so many other projects in the meantime. But it is a really pretty mandolin. It's one of the prettiest lowers I believe I've ever seen. Give you a close-up of the peg head there. The fingerboard. The body. It's really dark. And the back is really pretty. So it's a very nice mandolin. I did want to address a comment from yesterday. Someone made the comment about the football game that Leighton, the youngest, the 6.5-year-old, was being encouraged to be, more like a bully, and he was going to end up hurting somebody and those kinds of things. And it was quite a long comment. I'm just paraphrasing a few of the lines. I just want to be very, very, very clear. First of all, you heard me say that the nicest thing I could say is that he was intense. I could have gone a lot deeper, but I don't want to be real negative about it. He's only 6.5 years old. And I said he's not supposed to be tackling, that kind of thing. And before the game, I just want to be clear, before the game, he was talked to extensively about his aggression and that he needs to temper it and he needs to just go after flags only because it is flag football. And for 3/4 of the game, he did that very well. In fact, in the first 5 minutes, he probably got 6 or more flags. I mean, literally in the first 5 minutes, he was getting all the flags. He's very aggressive, very intense, but he was just getting flags, and he did a wonderful job. And in that first clip I showed you there, that was one of the closest ones to the camera. That's why I picked that one out to show you. He got that flag, and he did a great job. The second clip that I showed you yesterday, the two, Leighton went around and got out in front of the runner, and the runner went through some other people and basically they just met together. I didn't really feel like that one was much of an issue because they just kind of came together, and stuff happens. And he's only 6.5, and it wasn't like he was chasing the kid down to tackle him or anything. They just kind of came together. So I didn't really feel like that one was much of an issue. Stuff's going to happen on a football game, But the third clip that I showed you, Leighton could see that boy was going to score, and Leighton's fast. Even though he's really the littlest guy out there, he cut across that whole field and, cut him off. And he, instead of grabbing the flag, which would have been just fine if he'd have done that, he grabbed the kid by the collar and jerked him down. Well, Leighton's, like I said, intense. He wants to win, Well, we didn't encourage that. We didn't say that was okay. In fact, his father promptly marched out on the field and led Leighton off the field, and Leighton had to sit out the rest of the game. So that's the rest of the story. So my point is, you need to know the facts before you make those kinds of comments, or you need to phrase them in a different way instead of making it accusatory. Leighton was punished. He was not encouraged. It kills him to have to sit out the game. Trust me, that's probably the worst punishment you could give him. I think we're getting some rain out there right now, and that's wonderful because my project that I've been working on back there, where I've been filling in around the creek, the dirt that I was using to fill had gotten so hard to dig that it was really hard on my Bobcat, on the equipment and everything. So I'm hoping this rain is going to seep down in there and soften that up a little bit so that I can get that project finished up, and I'll be sure to show you more video on that as that progresses. Anyway, that's about it for this morning. I'm going to keep it short. And since I'll be gone tomorrow through Sunday, my next time to see you live will be this next Monday, and we'll be back with another vlog. If it's possible to do anything down in Mountain View, I will, but I can't guarantee any of that. I'm hoping Emery will have another video that we can release this coming weekend, or probably Friday evening. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for being so nice to me. I appreciate you all very much. We'll see you next Monday.